space. We will move our car, whatever car we need so they can get the space, just let us get the park. So now oh no, we can't do that. No, you just gotta find somewhere else to park. Who the fuck is you talking to? You feel me? Like, who the fuck is you talking to for real, even talking like that? Like, that be the shit, and that's what make a motherfucker be wanting to get into it with y'all, because y'all ain't got no respect. What's up, bro? What's up? Hell no.
As he was killed in the middle of his Facebook Live. In that video, you can see him getting out of his car before hearing a single gunshot fired, happening mere blocks away from this police station here in South Austin. Madison, near LeClaire Avenue in Chicago's South Austin neighborhood.
See someone live streaming from their car, just chatting like it's nothing, and you think, that's just everyday internet stuff. And then, within seconds, you realize you've just watched the last moments of someone's life. If you're watching now, pause for a moment and think about that. Because this story is about Kevin Tugg Watson. He turned the camera on, talking like usual, and before he knew it, everything changed. Before we go further, do me a favor. If you care about remembering the real people behind these headlines, hit subscribe to Crime Shadows. Click the bell so you don't miss stories like this, because every name matters. Now let's dig in. Kevin Watson. Everyone who knew him called him Tugg. He was about 42 years old, living on Chicago's west side in the South Austin area, on the 5000 block of West Madison Street. Quite enough block, not flashy like downtown. But life there has its own rhythms. Storefronts, parked cars, crumbling sidewalks, kids playing, grown-ups trying to hold something together. He grew up in a place that tested you. He'd been in trouble young. Yes, he spent time behind bars when he was younger, and when that happened he came out saying to the younger ones, "Don't go my route." He looked his son in the eye, a boy of about 7, and tried to mean that. He liked clothes, he liked presents. He had a heavy gold chain that spelled Tugg on it. That chain wasn't just jewelry, it was identity. When he walked into a room, people knew he was there. He had a car that he put up on social media. He had a steady pattern: leave the house, run to a store, maybe record a live, talk to his followers, laugh with friends. On one August evening in 2025, he did what he did many times before, stepped out, went to a cousin's liquor store a little before 6 p.m., picked up a drink, chatted with his cousin and nieces and nephews. Then, as the sun leaned toward the horizon, he started a Facebook Live session from his car in the parking lot of that store. The scene looked ordinary, just a man, his phone on the dashboard, his face lit by the screen, talking about his day. And that ordinariness is what makes the tragedy cut deep. Because it means this could happen to someone you know, someone you see smiling, talking, just vibing. Before the moment of violence, Kevin spoke about a parking dispute. Someone had parked wrong. Someone had disrespected him. That chain of events, pun intended, seems small. Parking spots, a chain, a camera. Usually we think of big motives. But half the time tragedies flick the switch from small, meaningless things into life-ending events. Kevin's voice on the live said, "What's up, y'all?" He leaned back, looked at the camera, smiled. He was doing what he did often. That chain glinted. The car idled. But back in his head, maybe the parking issue had upset him. Maybe status weight. Maybe past fights whispered in his mind. The car that approached him arrived at about 6:14 p.m., a little after he began streaming. According to witnesses like Alvin Jackson, who later spoke to police, Kevin had been talking to a man just before he got into his car. Then the man followed him. Enter the tension. The man pulled a gun. Kevin tried to wrestle with it. The phrase, "he was trying to wrestle with the gun and the gun went off," came from Jackson. Meanwhile, the chain lay on the ground later. Found. That chain that said Tugg. The camera is still rolling. Viewers see Kevin raise his hands, leave the car, scramble, then hear the shot. The car speeds off. The blood flows. His body lies under the dim parking lot light. He's rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital. At about 6:52 p.m., the Cook County Medical Examiner pronounces him dead. The live stream has over 2 million views. It became proof of life and death, public in real time. That chain on the ground became evidence. The motive? Under investigation. No arrests announced as of the latest reports. When I say small things, know this: someone calling out a parking dispute, someone bragging a little online, someone showing a chain, and the result is a man dead. Kevin told his young relatives, "Don't do what I did." But he died anyway, trying to assert what he had become. Life is messy. He was someone's father. His sister Talitha said he came back into the community and focused on kids and teenagers. He'd been in the system at 15. He used that experience to push others away from violence. He helped get jobs for his nephews and nieces. He smiled big. He dressed up. He posted his life. He had dreams. He had faults. And everything changed in one parking lot. Let's pull in the neighborhood, the community, the ripple. South Austin is one of those parts of Chicago where people know each other's aunts, cousins, uncles, where you still say hey in the store, and some folks you see every day. But there's also pressure. People looking to make it out, stay alive, protect their own. When you're streaming your life, you're both telling, "Look at me," and "I'm here." And that visibility can be a blessing and a risk. Kevin stood out. Not because he was perfect. No one in his world was. He stood out because he survived his past. He made noise. He broadcasted himself. He had friends who liked him for real. He had sisters who called him the goofiest, liveliest person I know. That was Talitha's words. He was the guy buying candy with his little cousin. He was the guy who helped others. Yet he still had that chain on his neck. That sign. That brand, Tugg. It meant something. The night of the shooting, right before the live began, Kevin and a cousin grabbed pizza or popsicles, small thing. Then he went out to his car and turned the stream on. The camera picks him relaxed, talking to his followers. The audio picks up his voice, shifting as the man approaches. The car that pulled up is in his frame. The man, decorated by silence, becomes audible. Kevin says, "What's up, bro?" He tries to wave off trouble. 3 seconds later, he's out of the car, shot. The viewers see him collapse, hear a voice yell, "Tugg, call the police." The man kind of bullets and screens, and cars collide. The chain. Some reports say the gunman or someone else tried to take the chain. Some say it was part of an attempted robbery. The fact the chain was found on the ground, covered in blood and fingerprints, makes that plausible. Family members said Kevin believed he had been backdoored, meaning someone he knew or trusted turned on him. His sister Shamika told NBC News that she believed it was people in his crowd. The presence of livestream camera, the chain, the person following him, they all point to a moment where status, identity, mistake, trust, and violence merged. Imagine you are Kevin. You have a chain. You have a follower count. You have a voice. You are live. You're sprawled in a parking lot, and your last seconds broadcast to thousands. The shooter leaves. No sirens until too late. No hugs after. Just echo. Now consider the friends and family. His sister woke up to messages. Kevin is being streamed. Shot? She raced to the hospital. She said, "We can't eat. We can't sleep. My head has been banging." The quote from Talitha tells you grief doesn't wait for the analysis to finish. It arrives raw. The cousin Jacquez said, he was choking for breath. He was trying to struggle to breathe. She had to see that moment, lip reading maybe, breathing for him. The father of his son lost a father. The community lost a man. Let's pause and think. This was captured on a live stream. That camera recorded his voice. That video will exist forever. It makes the grief public. It makes the trauma repeatable. For his son, this may be memory or footage. For his friends, this is a clip they can't unsee. For the neighborhood, this is a marker of what happens when small things escalate. Let's talk about the investigation. The authorities from the Chicago Police Department say the shooting occurred around 6:14 p.m. on a Wednesday in mid-August 2025. The location, 5000 block of West Madison Street, South Austin neighborhood. The victim, Kevin Watson, about 42 years old. He was sitting in his car and streaming. The suspect, in another vehicle, approached, produced a handgun, shot Kevin in the chest. He was transported to Mount Sinai Hospital, pronounced dead. No arrests have been publicly announced as of latest. The chain reading Tugg was found on the ground and is part of the investigation. Reports indicate that the live stream had already over 2 million views within days. The motive remains under investigation. Parking dispute, chain theft, betrayal. That's official, not speculation. The live stream complicates things. It provides critical footage of the approach, the voice, the moment Kevin stepped out of the car. It shows the gunfire, the collapse. Investigators will use that along with CCTV from nearby businesses, license plate records, ballistics, the chain itself with blood/fingerprint evidence. But the challenge, the suspect fled, maybe masked, maybe known to Kevin, and given the time lag the scene was visible to the public, and the killer may have left the area quickly. Meanwhile, the community, they are waiting. They wonder, when is the arrest? The family asks, if it were your loved one, would you want someone to come forward? The family's statement, we're going to have to figure out how to move on and be strong, day to day, to help each other get past this, because this didn't just hurt one person. That's Freddie Collier's quote. People want justice. They want closure. They want more than a statistic. They want names. They want faces. They want accountability. But this also raises the ugly question. Why did nobody step in earlier? Why did the confrontation turn deadly so fast? Why was a man live streaming in a parking lot such easy prey? The camera was on. The world was watching. Yet the attacker still pulled the trigger. Because sometimes visibility increases risk. Let's dive into the psychology. Why does a chain matter so much? Because in places where options are limited and respect can be rare, symbols become language. A heavy gold chain that reads Tugg is a declaration. This is who I am. But to someone who sees that chain and is resentful, or jealous, or hostile, that chain is a target. Taking a chain is not just theft, it's a message. If you can take someone's chain, you took a piece of their identity. Add to that the live streaming culture. People feel pressure to show up, be loud, flex. When you're streaming yourself complaining about parking or statuses, you're raising the volume. And when you have a camera on, you also invite lookers, challengers, maybe enemies thinking, I'll be seen too. Kevin's live stream started casually. He wasn't broadcasting war, but he ended up in a fight. The man approaching may have recognized him. The guy may have been upset. The words may have been exchanged. The camera may have captured part of it, but then the gunshot turned it into a final take. And viewers, strangers, friends, family, watched it happen. Thousands saw your last seconds. That's the difference in 2025 from previous eras. A death happens. But this death, it's streamed. It's not just a headline. It's a clip. It's shareable. It's viral. It's grief multiplied. Now I want you to ask, if you were Kevin, would you have started that live stream? Would you have walked away when you saw someone following you? Would you have removed the chain? Would you have chosen silence instead of visibility? These are questions without answers, but they matter. They force us to look at what we value, appearance, respect, status, and what we risk in chasing them. Let's talk deeper about Kevin's life and contradictions, because his story isn't just the shooting. It's a full life, from the past mistakes to the present hustle to the sudden end. His sister said he was jailed at 15. He knew the system. He knew a younger version of himself that had fewer options. So when he got out, he made plans. He built minor enterprises, parties, promotions, clothes, shoes. He had a hustle, but the hustle came with show. He live streamed, he dressed, he posted. The chain, the car, the live stream, they were all part of telling the world, I made it. I'm Tugg. And to some, that threading of past and present, of redemption and performance, made him a figure. At the same time, it made him visible. He told younger cousins, don't make my mistakes. He helped them with jobs. He invested in the community. So he's both role model and man with chains. That duality matters. Because when he died, people had to wrestle with that tension. He was flawed. Yes, but he was also giving. He was loved. He was father. He was friend. That's what makes the loss feel heavier. He wasn't just another guy on a live stream. He was someone's anchor in a messy world. And his community felt it. They didn't just lose the man. They lost the friend, the connector, the resource. People who said he helped me get this job, or he told my kid not to go that way. Those voices matter. They remind us this is not abstract. The chain that was dropped, the car still parked, the streaming app still open, they all point to a rupture in a real network of lives. Let's turn to the aftermath, the vigil, the social media posts, the grief. Within hours of the shooting, the video of Kevin's last moments had uploaded across platforms. Friends posted screenshots. The moment he reacted, the moment he exited the car, the moment the car sped off. People commented, no way, not him. Some posted prayers. Others posted condemnation. Stop the chain taking. Stop the status violence. Others posted reflection. If this was your loved one, you'd want someone to step up. The post piled up. Hashtags, shares, rage, sorrow. The family is now trying to navigate life with him absent. The young son, the mother, the sisters, they hold the chain he wore, the threads of his life, the memories of his voice on that camera. They want justice. They want the truth. They want names and accountability. But they also want to save his memory from being defined solely by the end. That's the battle of legacy, not the bullet. The man. The police investigation continues. Detectives say they are reviewing the live stream, the nearby surveillance, the cell phone metadata, the license plate readers, the chain evidence, the blood, the prints. But the killer remains unknown publicly. The motive remains unconfirmed. The community remains wary. That gap between the event and resolution is as cruel as the gunshot. Let's zoom out a little further. What does this story say about life, screens, identity, status, violence? What does it tell you as you sit there watching Crime Shadows on YouTube at 8 p.m.? It tells you all that glitters isn't safe. It tells you that showing up on a live stream means more than the views. It means exposure. It tells you that symbols of success, chain, car, camera, carry risk in some places. It also tells us that live streaming our lives means we are creating records of ourselves, and sometimes those records become evidence. The fact this happened mere blocks from a police station is something to ponder. The fact the car pulled up, the gun was drawn, the shot fired, visibility was high, yet control was low. The world watched. But the shooter wasn't immediately arrested. That tension, visibility versus accountability, is real. Kevin lived in a community that asked him to be more than his past. He tried. But the past, the chain, the camera, the dispute, they met him in a parking lot and ended him. I want you to ask yourself these questions. What does status look like in your world? Are you wearing a chain, a brand, a car, a phone that says you're somebody? If someone challenged you over a symbol of your identity, would you fight or walk away? If you were live streaming and danger approached, would you turn off the camera or face it? When you scroll past violent videos or live streams of disaster, what's your responsibility? Are you witness or voyeur? What do you want your legacy to be? Just the clip people saw? Or the life behind a clip? When Kevin died, people didn't just lose a headline. They lost a person. They lost help, advice, laughter, unfinished plans. He had a son. He had family. He had community roles. That's why it still matters. That's why you feel something even though you didn't know him. Because this could have been someone you know. As the camera shut off on his life, the reel kept playing. The chain sat on the pavement. The screen still glowed. And the question remains, who pulled the trigger and why? Lives like Kevin slip into memory unless we keep them in motion. Unless we name their names, hold their cases open, demand justice, and ask the tough questions. Kevin's case is ongoing. The police are investigating. The chain is evidence. The live stream is evidence. The community is demanding answers. The family is mourning, but also planning. They want someone to step forward. They want justice. And they want to reclaim the narrative, from victim to father, from clip to memory. Here's what you should remember about Kevin Tugg Watson. He was 42 years old, a father to a son, living in South Austin, Chicago. The shooting occurred at about 6:14 p.m. on Wednesday, August 14, 2025. He was live streaming on Facebook live in his car in the parking lot of a liquor store on the 5000 block of West Madison Street when someone approached, produced a handgun, and he was shot once in the chest. His chain necklace that spelled Tugg was found on the ground, with blood/fingerprint evidence, and is part of the investigation. No arrests have been publicly announced as of latest reporting. The investigation remains active. Now I turn the mic back to you. What do you do with this story? Do you just watch it and move on? Or do you carry a piece of it, share it, remember his name, and push for action? Because stories like Kevin's don't just fade. They get recycled unless someone keeps the memory alive. Unless someone asks the right questions. Unless someone refuses to click next too quickly. If this story hit you in a way that stays with you, do this. Subscribe to Crime Shadows. Hit that bell so you never skip the stories behind the headlines. Share this video not just because it's tragic, but because it's real. If you're in a community where someone you know meets a chain, a camera, a confrontation, reach out. Say something. Call something. Try something. Because maybe you're not the one stopping the gun, but you might be the one stopping the chain taker, the one talking someone down, the one saying cool it. We'll keep an eye on the case of Kevin Tugg Watson. We'll keep his name alive. We'll keep asking, who did this? Why did this happen? What can we learn so someone doesn't have to die next time?